Hello everyone, welcome to my channel. Today on General Hospital, Molly seeks out Michael for more advice, Cody opens up to Dante, Anna and Brennan clash, and Joss turns traitor. All products and services featured are independently chosen by editors. However, soaps.com may receive a commission on orders placed through its retail links, and the retailer may receive certain auditable data for accounting purposes. In Croatia, Joss is tied up in an empty room, and she tells Pascal she is on her honeymoon, and this has been a mistake. He throws a dossier towards her and says she doesn't have a husband and calls her Agent Jax. Joss asks what he wants. Pascal wants to know what Brennan knows about this place. Joss claims they weren't exactly on Brennan's need-to-know list. He tells her that unfortunately, this makes her disposable. Joss says she'll consider telling him something if he shows her Vaughn is okay. Brennan clashes with Colette. In his office, Brennan is reviewing files on the op when Anna calls from the brown dog drunk and wanting an update. He asks where she is, as it sounds like a bar, and she shouldn't be talking about Joss in public. She tells him he doesn't care about anyone but himself and hangs up. Colette walks in and tells Jack the agents haven't checked in for 12 hours, so it's time to call this off. He tells her she doesn't call the shots, and he has somewhere to be. She snarks, "A rendezvous with your agent's mother?" He warns her never to talk to him again like that, or else. A drunk Anna lashes out. Brennan shows up to find Anna drunk and asks what's with the booze. Anna tells him about Maxie and how she feels helpless about her and about Joss. Anna fears Joss has no idea what she's gotten herself into, and the WSB will ruin the girl's life as it did hers. Brennan tells Anna that it was her ambition, her desire to take shortcuts, and her work with Faison that ruined her life, not the WSB. Anna owns her mistakes, but tells him to just stop being an agent for once and be a human being. He needs to do whatever it takes to save Carly's daughter. Once again, Faison theme is brought up. This can't be a coincidence, can it? Meanwhile, Colette breaks into Jack's office while he's out, only to discover that what she needs is in a safe. Is Joss a traitor? Colette calls Pascal in Croatia, who excuses himself from Joss. Colette asks him to get Jack's safe code from one of his guests. He gives her orders to find out if their other issue has been dealt with. Vaughn is brought into the room with Joss by two other men, and Pascal asks Vaughn what the WSB knows about this resort and what their instructions are. Vaughn laughs and tells them to go to hell, so one of them starts punching him in the stomach. Another man brings in a hot soldering iron, which they hold to Vaughn's head. Pascal gives him one last chance to talk. Joss cries out for them to stop, and she'll talk. Pascal asks for the code to Jack's safe, so she gives it to him. Pascal and his men then leave. Sidwell has a proposal for Lucy. At the Metro Court, Sidwell and Lucy are out to dinner, but Lucy can't stop worrying about Maxie. Lucy wishes there was something she could do for Maxie. Sidwell tells her to keep the company going for her, but Lucy says the whole world saw Maxie collapse while using their product, and Erica Kane is likely going to use this to her advantage. When the heck are they just going to bring Erica on for a cameo? Sidwell says they'll come up with a solution, together. She appreciates him being here for her, so he suggests she spend the night at Windermere. Lucy is a bit shocked, and Sidwell says he only meant to continue enjoying one another's company, and she's more than welcome to use one of his many guest rooms. She normally would accept, but she feels she needs to go check on Mac and Felicia. Sidwell says the invitation always stands. Michael has more advice for Molly. At the bar, Molly talks with Michael about Drew, the restraining orders, and that her mom may have made a big mistake tonight, publicly fighting with him. They grab a table, and Molly wonders what happened to Drew, who people used to think of as a hero. Michael doesn't know, but he's causing trouble for more and more people, and he has to be stopped. Talk is cheap. Someone do something already. Their conversation shifts to their previous discussion about Cody. Molly fills him in on what she walked in on earlier, and that Cody claimed that Kristina was paying him to lure Ava away from her dad for her sake. Molly feels manipulated by her sister all over again. Michael plays devil's advocate and suggests Kristina was trying to do something nice for her. Molly asks why she and Cody didn't tell her. Michael suggests they may have worried she'd have clued her dad in. He suggests she at least hear her sister out and maybe give Cody the benefit of the doubt too. Has Cody ruined things with Molly? Dante stops by the Quartermaine stables with a six-pack as he heard about Maxie and thought Cody could use a beer and a friend. Cody says this has been hard on them all, especially little James. Dante gives him some advice he learned while dealing with Danny's struggles when his mom was in a coma. Cody really loves James, but sooner or later he'll learn all Uncle Cody does is let people down. Dante thinks he's being hard on himself, so Cody tells him about his latest blunder with Kristina, Molly, and Ava. Cody says this wasn't just for the money, and he thought he could help Molly by getting Ava away from Rick. Cody says he and Molly were really getting to know one another when suddenly a switch flipped and she started hating on him. He doesn't know why. What to do about Rick? At Alexis's place, after clobbering Rick, Ava goes to check for a pulse when Alexis walks in and sees Rick on the floor. Shocked, Alexis asks if he's dead. Kristina checks and he has a pulse, she thinks. Kristina shines a light in his eyes and his pupils react, which is a good sign. Alexis asks what happened, so Kristina gives her the short version of what went down between all of them, and Ava adds how Rick stole all her money and she whacked him without thinking. Alexis cries, "With my favorite paperweight, too." Alexis wants to call the police, but Ava makes it clear that if she goes down for this, Kristina does too. Kristina tells her mom that Ava's right, they can't go to the police, as her mom will also go down for embezzlement. Kristina says they all have blood on their hands and are stuck together. Alexis checks on Rick and then tells the women they need to figure out a solution. She says Molly is going to be home any moment and won't keep this under wraps for any of them. Kristina asks, what do we do with Rick? In the show's final moments. In Croatia, Vaughn is furious with Joss and says she should have let them kill him, and reminds her that she's an agent, not a college kid, and now they're both traitors. Pascal walks out on them. Pascal watches them from outside his room via a feed on his phone. He eventually turns it off and walks away. Back in the room, Vaughn tells Joss that it's because of her that Pascal has won. He says game, set, match. She repeats game, set, match back at him. Feels like a code, and perhaps Joss gave Pascal a phony code to the safe that will trigger an alert. At the bar, Anna tells Brennan she could tell Carly that he recruited Joss, as she could convince Joss to quit. Brennan says they both know she's not going to say a word. Sidwell returned home to find Colette waiting for him. She says Pascal needs confirmation that he took care of the problem. Sidwell says he doesn't answer to her or to Pascal. She says Pascal is only asking on behalf of their associate. Sidwell says he will soon have a controlling interest in deception, and then they can use the company as previously discussed. He also tells Tels to thank their associate for the compound, which worked perfectly. Maxie is no longer a threat. Back in the stables, Cody confesses to Dante that he cares more about Molly than the money Kristina was paying him, and that it's too bad it's all over because of him. At the Metro Court, Molly tells Michael that perhaps Cody's intentions were good, but it doesn't change what he and Kristina did. Molly says she's no fan of Ava's, but her dad needs to know what's going on. Back at Alexis, Ava stuffs the paperweight, which is evidence, into her purse. Kristina returns, having moved Rick's car into the shed where Molly won't go because of all the bats. They agree, as far as the world knows, Rick was never here tonight. Finally, we then see a shot of Rick waking up in a bed that he's strapped to with a gag in his mouth. He's in a dark room and tries to scream for help.